Hi, very good morning. Jim from Avstar. This is Jim Dale, one of the UK's top meteorologists, being interviewed and being asked what's going on with the UK's weather right now, as over a month's worth of rain has fallen in 24 hours and continues to do so. Just take a look to his left at the photograph there he's got on the sideboard, surviving extreme weather. Of course, guys, that's by no means a coincidence that that's been put in this frame for you to see, because that is exactly what is taking place with our Earth right now. Jim Dale, this guy that we're looking at, who's been interviewed, is saying that in 40 years he has never seen anything like it, and the weather has become so unpredictable that it's really hard to give a forecast, and that forecast, stay true to its words. I live in the UK. They were promising thunderstorms Friday, Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday evening we had some heavy rain and thunderstorms on the evening, which lasted pretty much throughout Sunday as well. I'll show you a bit later on what's caused it, and it should come to no surprise. You don't need to be a top meteorologist to work out what's going on. You just need to look at the jet streams, and on the back of that, let's go and do that right now. So at the beginning of the video, I'm going to just hold the cursor down so that we can see the continents that we're looking at. We can see UK right up there in the north of the equator, and then we're going to have a look at the jet streams. And you can see the subtropical has moved right up north on the polar jet stream. And you don't need to be a top meteorologist to know what's going to happen next to you. If you've got polar jet streams diverging into subtropicals, well, let me just tell you what happens in this scenario. Subtropical warm, humid air is able to hold a lot of moisture. As soon as it comes into contact with that cold region, it drops it. There you go. Don't need to be a rocket scientist to work that out, do you? And Jim Dale doesn't even mention the jet streams. What he does mention is the ocean currents, and he mentions global warming. Doesn't even mention at all jet streams, and he's a top meteorologist. This is what I've been warning for years. Look over in the southern hemisphere. Same scenario. It's like the subtropics around the equator are abandoned of jet streams right now. We have 4 continents flooded out right now. And that also means that the food in those regions are wiped out. The rice crops, the staple crops, all gone. I don't think they quite know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. When the reserves run out, or the staples that are in shops right now aren't there, possibly in 6 months' time because of lack of replenishments, then the extent of this extreme anomaly is going to come to fruition, and people are going to wake up around the world wondering why their governments failed miserably to alert them of the situation that is unfolding right now. This is just the start, by the way, guys, and we know what's caused the jet stream behaviour. It's cosmic radiation. Inbound through a weakened magnetosphere, which must be pushing on now 30% less than what it was 40 years ago. So 30% less protection than what it was 40 years ago as a result of a magnetic reversal taking place on our planet. If this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, please spend a bit of time researching magnetic reversals and collapsing magnetospheres. You might want to include as the extreme Mars, Because when a planet looks like Mars, it's lost its magnetosphere. And when a planet that is lost 30% of its magnetosphere looks like our Earth, then it should raise a slight amount of alarm. Because that's what's unfolding right now. That's what I'm talking about right now. You know, I said this was going to happen. It's now happening. Look at how close the jet streams are to each other on our planet. The polar jet stream should be around about 60 degrees and the subtropics 30 degrees. Well, you know, we've got subtropics almost touching the southern hemisphere of the UK right now at 50 degrees. You know, that is shocking. And no wonder we're getting the weather that we're getting right now. And we should be grateful that we are not closer into our winter, because if we was, that wouldn't be rain that's falling right now. That would be snow. And we could end up looking like the Arctic Circle if that was the case. I'm just saying to you guys out there that it would be I don't know, an insurance policy if you had at least 6 months worth of emergency food preparations and the ability to cook that and the ability to stay warm during a winter that left you outside. Just bear that in mind. You know, things are starting to be noticed now, even by top meteorologists that are saying they've never seen something like this in the 40 years of their career of working for companies like the Met Office. And why is that? Because in the last 40 years, the effects of the magnetic reversal are really starting to show their effects on the climate. It's nothing to do with ocean currents. This is to do with the magnetosphere weakening on our planet. You know, the money that has been wasted on CO2 alarmism is going to come back and bite them in the arse, because they have prepped in the wrong way. What they've invested all their money in is in wind turbines that won't work in the future, simply because the climate that fail to work right now because they can't meet the demands, because it's either too windy or there's no wind at all, too sunny or overcast for solar panels. You know, they cannot keep it within a uniform production of energy that meets and doesn't overrun that 60 hertz demand. So they have to shut them down when it starts to exceed that. And then when there's not enough wind and there's not enough sun, they just simply fail to produce enough energy to keep the grid going. This is ridiculous, guys, what's taking place right now. Mismanagement of money and funds, and, you know, a total wrong direction in travel across the range. You know, we've got the wrong people leading us at this point in time. And, you know, if somebody's been in meteorology for 40 years, Jim Dale, the Jim Dales of this world, don't recognise that when two jet streams come that close together, that this sort of thing that's happening here, right now here in the UK will take place, then they're in the wrong business. It's time, probably for them, to start delivering travellers' luggage to and from airports, like the rest of the Nobel Peace Prize winners. You know, that's all I've got to say. There's a link down there if you want to help support what we do at this observatory. Guys, what more do you need to know that this is taking place as of right now? We predicted this well in advance, and it's happening right now. Link down there in the description. we hope you support us, because by doing that, we're able to be here tomorrow and the next day. As always, bye for now.